This is the Professor, CBMD PhD, and today is Tuesday, April 29, 2025. It is 6:08 and 29 seconds, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today's research, toxicology. So let's hop to it here. The heart beats an average of 72 times per minute, or about 100,000 times per day. The heart will pump 4,000 gallons of blood at 40 miles per hour, and the heart rests only a fraction of a second for each beat. Currently, my average resting heart rate is around 60 times per minute, and my active heart rate is around 85 beats per minute. Having an athlete's cardiovascular system, especially heading towards my 50s, but like 10,046 years old, in wizard years. Before I tell you all my longevity secrets, I'll start the intro by saying that toxicology had always been a fascinating subject for me, and ignited my interest as a youngster, as we scrub beneath the veil of the principles of a healthier life throughout these mind-boggling tours of longevity. It is a continuous and adventurous study of how to increase life expectancy, boost physical appearance, memory, IQ, and just finding room for improvements, and the development of life is very exciting. I think for me this style of scientific investigation is very motivational, as it is not just a discipline, but a lifestyle. My fascination into intellectual topics such as environmental hazards, water pollution, food chemicals, household chemicals, automotive chemicals, and occupational exposures, and products that we are exposed to on a daily basis without our knowledge. Learning new innovative ways to improvise and improve healthier standards for future generations to come. We need to come up with alternative solutions, safety measures, preventive measures, natural cures, detox, intervention, rehabilitation, study biogeography, food chemistry, into pathophysiological research. Allow me to dive into the details of typical toxic contaminants you may encounter throughout your lifetime. Occupational exposure or everyday hazards, cellular waves, or millimeter waves, also known as Class 1 equivalent to carcinogens, DDTs, dichlorodiphenyltetrachloroethane. Ubiquitous and, in proximity to constantly using a mobile phone in a workplace, you can be exposed to toxic radiation. Symptoms usually start with headaches, insomnia, nervous system damage that will slowly melt brain cells, shrink blood vessels, and quickly cause electromagnetic injury, such as biological cellular damage, premature Alzheimer's, aging, or even leading to cancer, as cellular waves are becoming more and more lethal with fifth-generation technology. Much more into occupational exposure, we can also talk about typical home renovations, as these particular exposures contaminate us with formaldehyde, asbestos, fiberglass freon, chromium, ytterbium, strontium, and pet dander. Contamination of molds, fungus, and radon exposure, etc. We can find fiberglass leaks into the environment through small holes in walls. Formaldehyde can be ambient from old carpets and insulations from all over the house. Mold and fungus can be accumulated over the inside of basements and all over the house. And of course chlorofluorocarbons from old refrigerators and industrial cooling systems. Other occupational exposures can also be construction workers at risk of UV exposure, eye, skin, or heat stroke. Always wear sunglasses with UVA and UVB protection. Because if you don't, solar radiation can melt the transparent proteins in your iris and cause blurriness, leading to premature glaucoma or even cataracts. Firefighters at risk of respiratory exposures from breathing in fumes of unknown hazardous materials, especially forest fire rescue, etc., etc. Moreover, environmental exposure and scientific studies on an international level reveals exposure of our daily dose of photochemical smog. Carbon monoxide, tainted chemicals, forever chemicals, PCBs, pharmaceutical disposal, and highly toxic mercury, nickel, copper, and lead, especially from the plumbing systems that delivers water to our homes. Solvents, paint removers, inks, dry cleaning and paint thinner, turpentine, photochemical solutions, detergent soaps. We have an entire generation of work, and research studies tell us that we can easily come across expensive solutions, but we can find ways to improvise solutions for easy and inexpensive remedies to these problems. Furthermore, everyday exposure can come from products we use on our bodies and in our bodies, such as shaving cream contains poisonous chemicals like cobalt, tin, radium. Deodorants have aluminium and zirconium. Lipstick and cosmetics are filled with barium and titanium. Fragrances have bismuth, chromium from eyeliner, trace dentures barium and hafnium, nickel, tin, rhenium from commercial denture soap. Toothpaste sodium fluoride 0.243%, glycine hydrated silica, sodium hexametaphosphate, mica titanium dioxide, etc., etc. Much more. Everyday products such as styrofoam cups are contaminated with styrene, carbonated drinks, plastic film leaching up, plastics, arsenic and lanthanide. Food chemicals. Every brand of popcorn or corn chips have been tested to have zero linolene contamination, potent astrogenic metabolite, fusarium and gibberella fungal species. Peanuts are quite moldy because they are grown in the earth, and the earth is full of mold spores, creating aflatoxins. Chips that have been cooked in vegetable oils, canola, olive, or sesame seed oils, etc., is the same as being baked in gasoline. Eating them is equivalent to smoking a pack of cigarettes. These families of oils are coming from chemical factories. Choose healthy oils, such as coconut, avocado, or olive oils. Avoiding plastic and wooden cutting boards, as plastic shavings end up in the food, and wood attracts molds and fungus. Stick to glass or titanium. Carbonated beverages such as soda, Coke Zero, or Diet Pop is always contaminated with xylene, benzene, toluene, wood alcohol, artificial substances, solvents which contain methyl butyl, ketone acetone. Carbon tetrachloride and result leads to motor retardation, memory loss, mental delays, and learning disabilities. Table salt contains aluminium, so it is best to go natural alternative solutions and purchase sea salts. Arsenic, BPAs, plastic leaching out toxic chemicals from bottled water, especially wood alcohol, which is equivalent to windshield washer from manufacturers, tubes and pipes. Chemicals from aerosols, air fresheners into our enclosed airways, all carcinogens, leading to premature aging and cancer. Concentrated vitamin C fortified orange juice and fruit juices is loaded with thulium, thallium, artificial sugars, and microplastics from chemical plant processing. Best to buy a juicer and make your own. Margarine is manufactured from chemical plants, has zero nutrients or benefits. Increased trans fats increases your risk of cardiovascular heart disease and cancer. Toasters leach out tungsten onto your toasted bread, which puts you at risk of developing cancer later in life. Grilled foods from barbecues develops benzopyrenes, which is a class 2 carcinogen. Fast food restaurants loaded with hydrogenated grease and carcinogens like nickel plaques the brain, organs, and clogs the blood vessels, and damages arteries. You can never remove it from your body once you are exposed. Brominated bleach white bread or baby carrot strips nutrients and is a human hazard. Copper antimony from mineral ice massages, decaffeinated beverages, tetrachloride, pentane, and solvents, equivalent to nail polish remover. I can most certainly guarantee you that water and air pollution, such as polyfluoroalkyl substances, can cause fertility problems, mental health problems, developmental disabled growth in both men, women, children, and especially infants. Arsenic from pesticides, genetically modified organics, monosodium glutamate, gluten, synthetic dyes, artificial colors, emulsifiers, additives, solvents, aluminium, salt, sugar, fat, processing preservatives, and much more lung toxicities, beryllium, coal, oil, and fuel. Ambient chemicals from aerosols, air contamination from burning household products like candles, insect repellent, and air fresheners, especially from hurricane lamps, etc., etc., niobium from painkiller drugs, lutetium dysprosium from painting in the house. Teas and coffees are quite moldy, full of benzalkonium, acetone solvents, superficially elevates heart rate, and causes sleep disorders. Migraine headaches and permanently stains teeth, dehydrates and constricts blood flow, oxygen to the brain and other organs, absolute zero benefits from coffee. Folks are just becoming aware that smoking cigarettes leads to shrunken blood vessels, arresting oxygen to the brain and polluting you and your environment with lead, mercury, and carbon monoxide poisoning, leading to permanent maladjustments and memory loss. In conclusion, I would like to summarize this message by postulating that the process of elimination of as many toxic substances, hazardous toxicities, reduced exposure to our everyday environments will improve not only the quality of your life, but improve your health, which would give you the potential to live a longer life. Lay every brick in life as perfect as you possibly can. Eventually you will have a solid wall. Might not always be the length of life, but the quality of life. It would also boost memory, IQ, and clear thinking so folks can do better in school, improve income, increase career options, to have higher paying jobs, and so you can live free, the financial modern day stressors. Furthermore, I'm not trying to alienate folks, I'm trying to educate and inform people and empower them to be better. Let's start the day right. We got to start somewhere. Overall, I think these are all great strategies to teach to your children, so they too can live healthy with all these amazing lifetime benefits. And this is the Professor, writer and producer of my studies on toxicology, codename Will, Professor Christopher Brunet, leader of research, ufologist, psychic, scientist, computer technician, computer programmer, philanthropist, writer, mathematician, artist, photographer, film producer, chef, animal, and nature lover. Passion, world peace. This is the Professor, CBMD, PhD, and today's Tuesday, April 29th.